you check the children? Show a little match sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes. That is what
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Davey Deathray.
And I'm Mahalo.
You guys are on it now. We don't even have to figure it out. So what's up, guys? We are back to discuss the 5th episode of the 8-episode Alien Earth series, which I swear to God, for a couple of episodes there, it felt like it was Synth Earth instead of Alien Earth. But thank goodness we got episode 5 here to reinvigorate the series, in my estimation. So we're going to talk about this like we do our normal reviews. We'll talk about the overall thoughts, the story, the effects. It doesn't have to be as regimented as our reviews tend to be. I will say that this episode definitely made me happier than any of the other episodes that we've gotten thus far. Mm-hmm. If this whole series could have been like episode 5, which I feel like writers could have made happen, then I would be much, much happier with this series. Unfortunately, they decided to explore synths and Prodigy and this annoying fucking, what's the dude that's in Dune in all those movies? The young guy? Fuck, who cares?
Charlemagne?
Timothy
Yeah,
Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet. Yeah. Shamalama Ding Dong.
I like that.
Yeah,
better.
it's, I don't care about any of that. I care about this. This is what I was hoping this series would be. Finally, in episode 5, we get what happened to the ship that ended up crashing in episode 1. All of this stuff was just sort of alluded to and shown in very quick flashes, at least the finality of some of the crew members. And this, we finally get to see the events that happened, and it feels the most like Alien of anything that we've gotten thus far. I loved this episode. Davey, why don't you jump in?
Yeah, I felt like this was them kind of getting back on track for sure. I understood why they didn't do this right away, because they wanted to save some of this for later. And I still think the first 2 episodes were pretty strong for setting up the whole story and everything. But this feels like a little bit of a course correction, filling in those gaps, the mid-season prequel episode, that gets us, like you were saying, back to that world that we fell in love with the first Alien movie. The set design and everything is very reminiscent of what we experienced, watching the first Alien movie. So, and you get to spend some time and you get to understand a little bit more of the character motivation from our security officer. So that was the nice thing about this episode. I think probably the best thing it had going for it character-wise was that you get to understand a little bit more the full scope of his story and his motivation. And yeah, I feel like this one was pretty enjoyable. I'm worried it's going to get right back to the synths, though, on the next episode.
Yeah, I am too.
I have a feeling the pendulum is going to swing back on over there. I missed Timothy Oliphant in this one, but the episode was great.
Mahalo.
Yeah, I actually really liked the episode. I kind of wish this was episode 1. Or maybe it should have been the entire first season of Alien Earth. The 2 synths in this episode, their brief interactions way more interesting than the interactions we're getting between all the other synths. The T Ocelus, that thing was awesome. I like this one. Like you said, it felt more like Alien than anything else we've gotten so far. And there's a lot of practical effects too with the xenomorph. I thought was pretty neat as well. Yeah, I really liked this episode. It really felt like Alien.
Yeah. One thing that just popped in my mind is they're really good at finding species that have very specific and effective countermeasures to trying to be removed from what they're doing. Every alien species has something, whether it's acid blood or dust that immediately kills you of some kind.
Deadly farts.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's the green cloud. It's impossible to not fucking think along those lines. But yeah, so that's a little bit humorous to me. Am I wrong, or do we still? I had a thought in this episode, and I'm sure it's not a completely unique thought especially to the viewers of this particular series, but we haven't seen what Species 5 is, right? Like we know we know Ocelus, we know Xeno, we know slugs, and we know plants with, snake tongue. We don't know the fifth. I could swear I heard a familiar sounding noise. Is it possible that the fifth could be a Yautja?
Yeah, I was just about to say, watch, they're about to pull a Geishtein Yautja out their butts.
Like that's
That would
gotta
be wild.
Wouldn't that be like a great post-credits scene reveal that the fifth species was a Yautja that was just frozen in a pod or some shit like that? Like, I don't know. I had that thought this episode, and I was like, that would be really cool. But I doubt we're gonna get that. But we still haven't seen Species 5. So why? Like, there has to be a reason for that, right? Like,
Yeah.
To be honest, I totally forgot about Species 5 due to all the synth stuff in the previous episodes.
Yeah.
I had totally forgotten about it. So, yeah, I mean, it's totally a possibility.
It would make a lot of sense because in Predator Badlands, there's the Wayland Yutani synth. So they're already connecting them in that way on that side of things. So yeah, that could be the hook that gets everyone to come back for season 2.
For
Even
sure.
if season 1 is ultimately not what we wanted.
Yeah,
Those bastards.
Much like Twisted Metal.
Yes.
Season 1, it was fun, but it wasn't what we wanted.
Sure.
And finally, season 2, we're getting what we wanted, kind of. But that's a separate review. But yeah, so diving deeper into this episode, again, we get what happened on the original ship that crash lands into the Prodigy planet in episode 1. We see exactly what went wrong. We see how the alien life forms that did get free got free. Some of that was very... I mean, it was very writer apparent, right? It was very necessary, stupid maneuvers. Like a lot of, conveniences that needed to happen. Like she didn't quite seal the top, and somehow the fucking little tick knew to go right to that crack and open it up. You know what I mean? Like it was just a lot of kind of and she just didn't happen. Like she was so distracted, she didn't happen to fasten the Oculus tank. It had to be a lot of writing that made things happen as opposed to natural events that made things happen. That's kind of the way it came across to me. It's not to say that the events weren't cool. It's just to say it felt very manufactured as opposed to organic to me.
Yeah, I think that some of that stuff, it's like if we were able to live with these people a little bit longer, a couple episodes with them, then you could create some sort of reason why. Like maybe she hadn't gone to sleep for a couple days, because of everything that's been going on. But I don't remember them saying that. But it seems like, yeah, she makes a series of mistakes that somebody that's a scientist that's out in space is probably not the kind of person to do that habitually.
Right.
But that's the thing, that this franchise does that sometimes. It's like, hey, here's this scientist that's also an astronaut, and then we're just going to make them dumb over some really basic stuff, even though clearly they would have to be brilliant and very special to be in this role. Yeah. But yeah, and even the convenience of the little tick has a brain that's that smart. It's oh, I'm going to climb up here and stick my little thing. Oh, there we go. Now I got it open. It's wait, this is a little insect. Yeah.
Not only that, but I'm going to go and shit in this creature's water that I know it's going to, drink down. It's a lot of contrivances, a lot of writing contrivances in this episode, but it's still delivered on a lot of the thrills. But yeah, Mahalo, your thoughts on all of that?
I mean, yeah, I can definitely see where it would be for writing. If they gave us, like you were saying, a couple more episodes to give some kind of biological imperative as to why these things, the minute the water hit the thing, I knew immediately bugs need to reproduce anyways. This thing's like a tick. It's going to want to go to the water eater because it knows that the water has some form of oxygen that it's getting from the blood, or it needs to plant its stuff in the water like a mosquito would do for that. And as soon as that happens, boom, okay. And then just teasing the water bottle the entire time was just come on.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. I'll
No,
follow.
there is with it. I mean, if they would have given us some kind of biological impairment, I think they were really trying to show the intelligence level of the creatures that they're holding in them. The Ocelus makes sense because it's a very like monitoring. It watches. It's curious. The ticks, they have no reason. No reason. They're
bugs.
just blood sucking ticks.
Yeah, well, not only that, but we see that, ultimately, if they're starved, they'll eat dead things. But like, okay, so what? And not only that, but the inconsistencies of the species as a whole, right? We see that a bunch of them were feeding on the interior of this young guy, and yet none of them had bulbous asses. Right, the one that it removed like had no don't they all like fill up these nasty asses as they suck blood? So like he had all of these inside feeding on his insides, but none of them had like bulbous asses, and it's like, okay, maybe because they're more larval stage, but like that's why is my brain having to do those gymnastics?
Yeah,
like it should be consistent in the shit that you've told us. So, like, I was anticipating that they were going to find a bunch of fucking little mites with huge bulbous asses, which would have been more in line, right? Because, like, his blood was draining, but, like, where was his blood draining to if they weren't, like, getting bulbous asses?
Here's a fun game to play while watching this review. Take a drink every time Cecil says bulbous asses. You're drunk already.
I'll go back to it, man. I'm a big bulbous ass fan.
In the first or second episode, when the ticks grab onto those, weren't those the ticks that attacked those guys? Like
and they
immediately fill up.
That's what I'm saying. And they showed it when it fed on the dead rat. It got the bulbous ass. Why did none of them have bulbous asses inside when they were literally draining blood from the inside? You'd think they'd be the biggest bulbous asses.
Yes.
No bulbous asses for the little bulbs.
Again, the inconsistency doesn't make a ton of sense there, and we still don't know what the fuck the plant thing does. Like, so, like, we don't know what the fifth species is. We don't even know what the fourth species does. Like it's a little bit weird, but the episode was shot and executed like an alien movie, and I think that's where it was really strong because, like. Yeah, like the Oculus thing showing how smart it is, like that it's just constantly watching and devising plans. And then once we revealed the grease monkey with the replaced eye, it was like, all right, yeah, that's cool. But then they didn't show what did he just do? Like punch the girl and then like go and stand in a corner again? Because, like, she gets knocked out, and then she's like, when they walk in, she's fine, and he's just off standing in the corner. Like, what was the point of the whole, like, I'm going to spring and launch at her and, like, attack her, but I'm just going to knock her out and then go and stand off to the side again? That doesn't feel like what the Oculus's endgame would be. So, again, the inconsistencies in what they're presenting is a little bit frustrating to me as a writer brain. I don't know if that kind of thing is occurring to you guys, but it's bumming me out a little bit, even in this environment of a traditional alien movie, traditional creature feature. Even there's inconsistencies. So I don't know. Maybe I'm nitpicking, but what do you guys think?
I like the Ocelus thing. I like that they've given it some kind of grudge against the xenomorph, because it definitely seems like it's trying to warn the lady at some point about the xenomorph.
You think it's got like altruistic motives?
Not altruistic. I think it's maybe like a counter. You know how some things, cats and dogs. I think it's
it does attack the xeno at one point.
Yeah, I think it's some like a kind of counter species. Like it needs the people so it can survive its own things, knowing that the xenomorph also needs the people to make other xenos. So it's kind of like a battle of resources is the way I'm looking at it, is where it sees the people as its resource for its longevity, knowing that the xeno is killing its resources. I don't know. I kind of like that this little thing went straight out at it.
I think you're attributing a lot of perhaps a little over intelligence to it. I think it's just surviving, and I think the xeno was the newest life form that it could attack because it tries to go for its eyes, but xenos don't have eyes. So like it didn't get anywhere, right? So like it has to move on. I think it's just attacking based on its instincts. I don't think it recognizes necessarily that the Xeno is taking out its supply of the things, because again, it just needs one creature that it can to move on and get to other places. That's the other thing. Like, we don't really know what the Oculus's end goal is.
Yeah. Well, it seems intelligent enough to know that using at least a human body or something that's bipedal in that manner, it seems to want to prefer that, because the way it's watching the humans and the way it specifically watched it just seems like it wants to be in something that has more capabilities as a body than what would be the cat.
I think it just tries to mimic. I think it just tries to mimic as well as it can. That's why even as a sheep, it tried to mimic the humans it saw, and it stood up. Right? Yeah. I think it just tries to mimic what's around it as best it can. But, it's an interesting conversation to have, right? Like, guys, let us know in the comments below. Do you think that it's a uber intelligent species that is like manipulative and trying to figure out the best way to subvert everyone's expectations, kind of the way Mahalo's thinking, or is it just following its instincts and trying to find a creature that it can subsist on and last the longest in, but I don't even know if it wants that, because it keeps moving from host to host. So who knows? Like, let us know. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking, Davey?
And isn't it trying to warn the scientist in the lab about the tick escaping?
No, I think
when
it's no. I think
on the glass?
No, I think it's purposely distracting her so that the tick can escape.
Because I thought it was trying to warn her because it wants her.
No. I think it's trying to distract her attention so she doesn't see the tick escaping.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, I think it is intelligent enough, but it like knows it's trying to fuck up the humans. Like, it's like, yo, hey, don't look over there. You might see it escape. Like, that's why it's like ding, 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 ding. Trying to get her attention right as it's getting out, because it's watching the thing get out, and it's purposely distracting her.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's funny. That's how I interpreted it, but that's not how you guys interpreted it.
Yeah. Well, because I was like, maybe because it wants her, right? So, or it wants a human, and she's the one that it sees all the time. So. But then another weird, like, as it's throwing its body like into the little, into its little cage or whatever, its glass cage, I'm like, well, that's really odd for this really smart creature that's got a bunch of eyeballs and just a brain to be throwing its body up like that. Seems like it could hurt the body or hurt the brain. And then when it falls down and glass goes everywhere, I'm like, this little squid thing ain't gonna get, like, this isn't dangerous for this thing. But I'm like, whatever. I'm enjoying it for what it is. And it
usually glass breaking around your eyes isn't the best thing, and this thing is like 80% eye.
And the impact, it falls like several, for its size, it falls quite a ways before shattering and everything. But I do like, what you were saying, Cecil, about this feeling more like an alien movie. There is that, like, the protocol and the chain of command and the, just the distrust and, finding out that there's got to be somebody that is a saboteur, like, on the ship. That put me right back in those first two movies. I really liked that element that they put in there. And yeah, I think that, Mahalo, you had said you kind of wish the show like started this way. I get why they didn't do that because it's a TV show, but I do wish we got a little bit more of this in the series, less of the synths and more of this stuff.
Yeah, right. Like, again, I feel like there's something to be said about just having like a 10 to 15 person crew, alien species break loose, and like, are enough of these humans going to survive to like land and get back to Earth or whatever? Like, obviously if it's alien Earth, I focus it more on Earth, but like realistically, you don't need Earth to tell a good alien TV series. Like, just give us it's the same reason I think a Freddy, like the original Nightmare on Elm Street, would make for a phenomenal 8 to 10 episode TV season, because every episode in the first half of the season, you dive into each of the kids as a part of the group that ends up facing Freddy in the back half of the season. And like, every episode is each kid's interaction with Freddy and their dream and like how they learn about this character. And then by the mid-season, they all commiserate, like, oh shit, this guy's after us all, and then like from, it's like, it's the same kind of thing. If you just have a slow pick off, You know, you have 1 or 2 people die per episode as this massive crew of like 20 or 30 people on this. Because again, these ships are ginormous, and yet there's only like 8 to 10 people that we follow, you know, every single time. That's not what it would, like, it'd be more Star Trek crew than fucking what we see in these things. Like, how do these 8 people manage this, like, multiple, like, football field, you know, wide and long ships? You know what I mean? So, I feel like there's plenty of room to maneuver in a TV series and not have it like have to go like, let's talk about fucking children in adult bodies because we don't have anything else. Like, there's plenty. If it's 5 species of aliens that they have to deal with across 20 to 30, you know, humans, like, that's plenty to fill an 8-episode series. You don't need to do this synth bullshit. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm beating a dead horse here, but that's just the way I feel about it.
I mean, I think they could have done the first couple episodes with this crew, and then at the end of each episode, you check in on Earth and you see a little bit of the synth stuff, and then that way the audience is like, oh, I wonder what's going on there, instead of it being like forward facing as much as it was. But yeah, I get, I mean, they called it Alien Earth. We know that they're going to be on Earth. We know that's the end goal. But I do think that what we get here from the crew and everything is, you know, really well done and really fleshed out. Although Tang, is he synth? Is he supposed to be real?
I thought he was supposed to be synth, but I'm sorry, to your point, we've just finished episode 5 of 8 of Alien Earth, and what the fuck does any of this have to do with Earth?
Well, the corporations fighting for the aliens.
Okay, we could just rename the planet. It has nothing to do with being on Earth outside of the fact that they named this planet Earth. Prodigy could have been in charge of a whole different planet. It makes no sense and no difference that it's quote-unquote Earth.
Would have been cooler if it was like LV22976.
Like,
something.
what it could be. It could very well be. There's no reason to call this planet Earth. Like, even the script, because there's buildings and skyscrapers, sure, but they're still futuristic enough. Like, there's no point in calling this Earth. At least in the first 5 of 8 episodes.
It was just a catchy title.
Yeah, it's like, like, I'm sorry, but the one Predator movie that everyone hates, The Predator, like, that's the most Earthbound, like, alien movie that we've gotten, both in the Alien and Predator franchise. Like, it actually happens on Earth, and like normal people have to deal with these threats. This is just Alien LV 420 Earth. Yeah. Like, this is not even Alien Earth per se. Like, nothing has happened on Earth. It's happened on the ship, or it's happened in the Prodigy fucking skyscraper.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They probably should have just called the show Prodigy.
Is it a nitpick? Yeah, Alien Prodigy, 100%.
Honestly, like, it's Disney. When they make decisions on things, I'm not surprised if they're just like, yeah, Alien Earth, it sounds good, it's catchy, it has the word alien in it, that's what we care about. Like, Disney they're not like really thinking too hard about this stuff. We just have to hope that they hire people that are good at the job, because I don't think most of the people at Disney really care.
Alien needs their Dan Trachtenberg. You know what I mean? Because Dan Trachtenberg is in charge of the Predator U, and he's killing it. And like let's get Dan Trachtenberg is essentially the Predator version of Kevin Feige. We need an Alien version of Kevin Feige to like usher, like, to work closely with Dan Trachtenberg to like let's usher both, like, Predators on like wonderful tracks right now. Aliens on some fucking, you know, Romulus was good, but this is some rickety tracks shit for me, you know.
If this show doesn't work out, they're just gonna hand it to that Trachtenberg guy and just have him do both, probably.
I mean,
is it bad that I kind of hope for that then at this point?
I'm okay with that too. I mean, but you know, Fetty did a good job with Romulus. Like, I'm okay with
it's good.
Romulus.
It's good, yeah. And Fette's, I think Fette's strongest suit is taking, you know, I mean, Don't Breathe is amazing, don't get me wrong. But what he did with Evil Dead and then Romulus, he's really good at taking other people's properties, and he understands them and how to like move them forward,
revitalize and breathe new life. Yeah.
But the next 3 episodes of this show, I mean, this was a damn good episode. So I don't know how much they're going to be able to slow down from here. It seems like it might just be kind of a sprint to the finish.
I unfortunately disagree. I feel like we're gonna jump right back into the quicksand of the synth bullshit. Because like there's none of the momentum and kinetic energy that we got from this episode is going to carry forward, because we already know what happens after this. And it's already ground to a halt. So now we're starting at zero. Like, now the train has to chugga again. You know what I mean?
Would you feel differently if, like, redheaded synth chick just goes, like, absolutely nuts and basically turns into, like, a Terminator down there?
No,
like,
because that's not Alien. Like,
you?
I hate that subplot already. Like, I really don't like a malfunctioning synth. Okay, we got that in the first Alien with Ash. We don't need to see, like, again, that's why I hate the children as adults storyline, because we know, like, they're not going to be able to handle it. Like, clearly, it's not interesting to explore that, because obviously, you know what I mean? Like, I that's the way I feel about it. Again, I might be being too harsh, and I fully acknowledge that, but it's just my straight up genuine gut reaction to what we're getting. This episode 5 stretched out to a full season is what I wish we would have gotten. And the fact that I know that's not what we're getting, and the fact that I know we're going to rubber band right back into the flypaper of fucking the synth earth, you know, like, storyline, I'm not excited going for. Davey, I wish and hope against hope that you're right, but I do not see a pedal to the metal from here on out.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I was saying I was really hoping that this episode should have been the first couple episodes, at least the first episode, because there's just so much that happens. It's so exciting. How do you snap back to right where we were, where we left off with her click-clacking at the dang alien, serpentine alien that just came out? How are we going to go from all this awesomeness that we just saw, and whether or not it was convoluted or written wrong, irrelevant. It was the best episode, I think, so far. How are we going to go from that alien feel right back to, as Cecil described it, quicksand? I mean, they really got to do something out of the loop, out of the craziness. I mean, to really make it go, they got to start killing off people immediately, I think.
They have to ratchet up the action. They have to bring the action to the Earth part. We have to see that Xeno become full size. Mm-hmm. And I think you're right, Mahalo. We have to see some consequences down there. But what happened on the ship, we need to see that version happening at Prodigy on Neverland Island.
Like, this episode definitely made me care about Kumi, the I guess our Captain Hook, the guy with the cyborg. Definitely made me care about him more. And
you're talking about Morrow? Morrow?
The dude with the
security officer, Morrow,
the main dude from this episode, right?
Okay. I think his first name's Kumi Morrow.
Oh, is it Kumi? Okay.
Kumi, this episode made me care about him and like him. I was like, oh, so he's actually the protagonist of the story. Oh, awesome.
I mean, yes and no. He's still a dickhead. He's a complete asshole, but at least we know it's because he has a daughter or something. You know what I mean? Like,
he's better drawn because we understand more about him. But he's not. He is.
He's not
morally
redeemable.
Ambiguous. He's morally ambiguous.
At the least, I would say morally reprehensible a lot of the way. You know what I mean? Like, he literally just let the girl fucking die. By the way, I do love that we got the alien moonwalking again, just from farther away. I hate that moment from episode 1 was so fucking stupid when the alien literally moonwalks back across the, like, it doesn't even like step, like it just literally slides backward. And we got that throwback. We got to see it again in this episode. I was like, there's the moonwalk.
Well, and I know the alien doesn't have, I know the Xenos don't have eyes. Do they have to move like Stevie Wonder? Because they really were like it was like doing this in the hallway, and I'm like, what is going on, dude? This is like some Stevie Wonder disrespect here.
Well, see, I guess that just kind of brings back to the intelligence of the Ocelus thing, because as soon as it was in the body, it started doing the noises.
Was it trying to bite? Was it trying to bite the Xeno?
It did bite the Xeno.
Where's the acid? Where's the friggin' acid?
I don't think
Exactly.
it pierced the skeleton. It didn't pierce the carapace enough to get an acid bite. It's just a human's bite, so it's not like the bite force was strong enough to pierce that thing's armor.
But it's enough
then
to
they-
make it scream. Like if it's
I mean,
not,
wouldn't you
if it's-
scream if a human bit you in the neck?
Not if it's not breaking fucking skin. Like
I'd still scream.
if I'm an indestructible alien with fucking acid for blood, I'm not gonna scream at a lower life form, a soft tissue being.
Yeah.
But do
biting
the
me.
Xenos know that they have acid for blood? Do they know they're?
I mean,
Are they
they're
that
drones. They
self-aware?
literally call themselves like they're drones. And
Yeah, so they're unaware of
No,
anything
so
other
I mean,
than-
yeah, like
yeah.
that. But that's another reason why it doesn't make sense. Like
Yeah.
they're just like, why the fuck did he let the brother go twice if they're just
Yeah.
fucking indiscriminate killing machines as they're supposed
Sure.
to be?
And it takes its time with the lady that was like the interim captain.
Yeah,
It sure
the
does,
amount of
like,
times it
dance around
decides
with
to
that
like slowly stalk versus like gallop. It's
Yeah.
like why? Like why?
Was it like
Yeah.
2 episodes ago? It took out like 7 people in like 13 seconds or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
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 So again, I think this show's biggest problem is inconsistency.
Fair.
It takes detours and it makes decisions based on what it feels is necessary in the moment, and unfortunately, it makes a lot of moments ring false because they're not all in line with each other. You know, again, maybe I'm being nitpicky. I feel bad, and I keep couching everything I say with maybe I'm being too critical, maybe I'm being nitpicky, but like I love the franchise, and there was a show here that could have been amazing, but like there's just so many decisions and missteps that I just don't understand, and it gets worse and worse with every episode almost.
I mean, 1 episode's been absolutely terrible, right? Like 4 is terrible. 3 was like not great. I like the first 2. I like this one. It's like I want to be, and I'm the
3
biggest
out of 5.
critic of TV shows, so I'm trying to be. I'm like, well, I'm in it to win it with this one, so I hope it like makes good on that investment that I've made. But it's one of the issues when you have to fill up this much runtime is the inconsistency, and sometimes the show feels like a bad mixtape. Like you ever get a mixtape or a burn CD from someone, it's got no flow. Like they're like. They're not like finding the right grooves. They don't know when to pull it back and when to push it forward. And this show kind of has that feel of just like, where's the direction?
Yeah, it's hodgepodgey.
Yes. It's a potpourri on Jeopardy.
Hopefully, it's an experiment for them to see what works and what doesn't work. And I hope they got this whole sin thing figured out that it doesn't work.
I mean, look, at the very least, I did see an article that come out that said that this is like the most popular streaming TV show of like many, many, many years. So that's nice. Like it shows that there's a market for it, but and that's even when it's weak like this. Like there's that many people that want to see it. So I feel like, again, not dissimilarly from Twisted Metal, like they're like, okay, there's an audience for this. Let's put some time and some money into it and give them what they actually want. I'm hoping that will be the course correction for season 2. If we get a season 2, like, I don't know. Again, like, what the fuck is the point of even calling this Alien Earth? You could call season 2 Alien Earth, and it would be more Alien Earth than season 1 of Alien Earth ever was. You know what I mean? At least thus far. When we're fucking more than 50% of the way through, we're 5 out of 8. We're 5/8 through, and ain't no reason to call this shit Earth, period.
Yeah. No, they should have called this, like we were saying. I think we said this a couple episodes ago too. Should have just called this something different, like Prodigy, or Weyland-Yutani. If the focus was going to be on the synthetic life and not on the xenomorphs, then it should have just been called Prodigy or Weyland-Yutani. They're just using the name Alien as a way to gain audience. I mean, it worked.
Yeah,
it worked. We're here. We're watching.
Yeah, true.
But it's definitely misleading when 3 out of the 5 episodes are xenomorph, and maybe 2 of them are really legitimately good episodes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the name was like a boardroom decision. So like, this is what we're going to name it. We don't care what you want to call it. This is just what our focus groups told us will work the best.
Yep.
This is their 90-year-old Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Till you're 90. All right. Well, let's call it there, you guys, for episode 5. I think episode 6, 7, and 8. Davey, I'm not sure which day a week we have him on. I'm not sure if that's a Tuesday or a Wednesday, but I do want to continue recording these the day that they air. So yeah, thank you guys very much for joining. Guys, if you've watched at this point, thank you so much for watching this far. Let us know what your thoughts are on episode 5 in the comments down below. Who do you agree with? I'd be very curious to know y'all's thoughts. Until next time, though, I've been Cecil Laird.
I've been Davey Deathray.
And I'm Mahalo.
And remember, guys, stay scared.
Stay scared.